Hello students, how do you do these days? Well done students, welcome to today's lesson of speaking, particularly asking for and giving direction, which is very important and acquainted with our day-to-day lives. Students, before getting through this important lesson topic, let's remember and rehearse what we have learned previously. In the previous time, similarly, we did some important lesson on speaking, particularly giving advice and warning. By then, if you remember, we tried to see some important social expressions that are important to give advice and warning, and the particular modal auxiliary verbs that go through these activities for giving advice and warning too. Students, did you remember what we have seen last time from modal auxiliary verbs? Confidently, you would. For example, must, should, ought to, and had better. Again, need to. In that lesson, we try to incorporate individually what they mean, and we try to see them in our sentences structurally. And then, we try to see the ways of giving advice and warning, some polite expressions, the techniques, and how to give responses again. And also, we try to see some important supportive or supplementary exercises and sample dialogues too. So I hope you have got a good point from that lesson. And today, as well, a speaking part, asking for and giving direction, we will see it. So as usual, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to ask for and give direction. As well, you will be able to practice those of these various social expressions to ask for and give a direction. So students, by the end of the lesson, you are able to or expected to fulfill these competencies. Very good. So as a brainstorming question, look at this. Have you ever asked for and given a direction? Definitely yes. So, which expressions did you use to give and ask for a direction? I hope these brainstorming questions are very important to you to rehearse the matters you did previously, because the topic by itself is very inviting and attached with our day-to-day lives. So what can you say for these questions? Take a minute and discuss with your friend. Very good, students. I hope you have mentioned some important things for these questions. For example, for the first one, have you ever asked for and given a direction? Yes, of course. You might have been asked or given a direction in some cases or in any ways, so that you might have used some kind of expression to give or to ask for a direction. So what are they? We do have some commonly used expressions for the situation or context. So we will incorporate these expressions in our lessons today. Good job, students. Now, as introduction, let's this simple exercise. Now you are going to match the sentence below A to complete the dialogue with B. So take a time of 2 minutes with friends and choose a letter of your choice from B and write it in front of A to complete the dialogues. You will have 3 minutes to accomplish this task. Good, students. I hope you have accomplished it correctly and efficiently. So let's see it together. Question 1 says, excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the city library? A person on question number 1 asks the way to the city library. And first of all, you have to analyze whether the question is open-ended or closed-ended. Does it need yes/no question or explanation? Look, excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the city library? So what will be the answer? Let's go through the distractors from section B. So let's see it. It's important to concentrate on yes type replies since our question is close-ended, since it needs yes no type reply or response. So what are these? Look at A. Yes, it's only about a 10-minute walk. It cannot be because it tells us a distance, not the way how to get to the city library. And find another reply that consists yes. Look, D. Yes, you will pass a large church and a bakery. The library is just after the bakery. So, for the first question is D is important. Response D is the right answer. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the city library? Yes, you will pass a large church. Pass a large church. This one is a landmark. And a bakery, another landmark here. The library is just after the bakery. So this one is the location of the library. So choice D is a correct answer for number 1. 2. The person replies, thank you. Will I see any landmarks on the way? Will I see any landmarks on the way? Another close-ended question here. Thank you. Will I see any landmarks on the way? Okay. Yes, it's only about a 10-minute walk. Again, it tells us a distance. You are welcome. Enjoy your visit. Again, it's another response for other questions. Sure. Head straight for 2 blocks, then turn right at the traffic lights. This one is important. Sure. Head straight for 2 blocks. A landmark, the 2 blocks. Then turn right as the traffic lights. The traffic lights are other landmarks to make brief or definite for the place. So C is important answer for this. And third, look at, got it. And is the library open at this hour? Is the library open at this hour? We don't know. But what should the person reply here? Look at E. I believe it is. Opening hours are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The opening hour. Very important clue. Opening hour. So E is another correct answer for the third. The opening hours tells us opening hours. And the person asks on number 4, thanks for the help. Is the library walking distance from here? Here he is asking about the distance from here. How much is it? And as we said, A tells us the distance. Yes, it's only about a 10-minute walk. So A is a correct match. A correct match A for number 4. Thanks again. Have a great day. This one is the enclosure of the dialogue, a welfare. Thanks again. Have a great day. You are welcome. The reply for thank you. You are welcome. Enjoy your visit. B is correspondent for this expression again. So, situationally, these kinds of dialogues are very important to practice or to make correspondence between asking and giving response, between the question and the answer. Again, they always tell us some hint or clue through our words to make a best match or correct match between the word or the question and the answer too. So don't hesitate to do such kinds of dialogues or conversations to match these kinds of elements to practice or to develop your skill of matching question and response too. Very good, students. Let's proceed. Now, have a look on some important expressions to ask for a direction. What are the expressions? Look at this. Excuse me, how do I get, there is a place on the parenthesis, from here? For example, the place might be, excuse me, how do I get to the hospital from here? The place can be any place. For example, the hospital. The hospital might be the nearest hospital, the Black Lion Hospital, or any hospital. Excuse me, how do I get to the hospital or to the nearest hospital from here? Can you tell me the way to blank? Can you tell me the way to, for example, Bole Airport? The place might be Bole Airport, the place might be 6 kilo, 4 kilo, Kazanchis, Piazza, or anywhere, any place. It's optional or open. And where is the nearest another landmark station or a shop? Where is the nearest bank, the nearest hotel, the nearest hospital, the nearest supermarket, and so on? Is there a certain place near here? Is there a church around here? Is there a shop or supermarket around here? A police station around here? Any place again. Could you show me the way to some kind of place on a map? Which is the best way to go to some kind of place or certain place? How far is a certain place from here? Am I going the right way to a certain place from here? This and the likes are the most important expressions to ask for a direction. They are more polite in begging. What about giving for a direction? Look, how do we give directions? Go straight ahead until we reach some kind of landmark. Go straight ahead until we reach the church. The church, the landmark might be the church or the hospital or the bank or anything or any certain place. Turn left or right as the street, light, intersection, junction, roundabout, or any other segments. We can say any place. Or it's on your left or right, next to, beside, in front of, between, and so on, or another landmarks. Again, walk or drive down this street for about 100 meters, 200 meters, 150 meters, and so on. Or take the first or second turning on your left or right or a junction. You can say, you will see a landmark, maybe you will see a mosque, a bank, a hospital. Then it's just past that. Or it's opposite or in front of, beside, behind the church, a hospital, a mosque, a supermarket, the commonly told landmarks. You can say. If you reach some certain landmark, you have gone too far. Another expression or polite expression for giving directions. So, students, asking for and giving directions are a very common title in our day-to-day activities or learnings. What matters is how do we reply or ask for a direction. The secret is using polite expressions, using carefully chosen words or important words. So, if you come across any questions that are standardized or national examinations, all what matters is knowing a context or the polite expressions. How should a person reply for a certain kind of question? And how should a person ask for and give a direction? So, how a person is efficiently use the language is a matter. So don't forget that is a target of our learning and teaching process about giving for and asking for a direction. Good, students, let's proceed. Now let's have a look on the important prepositions and prepositional phrases to give a direction. Between two buildings, maybe. in front of a certain landmark, as we said, in front of the bank, supermarket, or shop, beside the hospital, beside the mosque, beside a clinic, police station, whatsoever. Next to on your journey or way, it's next to the hospital, we can say. It's next to the bank. Again, it's on the right. It's on the right of a police station, maybe on the right of some kind of landmark or a certain landmark. And conversely, we can say on the left of the clinic, on the left of a mosque or a certain known landmarks. At the corner of the building, if somebody asks, excuse me, can I get the nearest bank around here? Oh, no problem, I can show you. It's at the corner of that big building, you can say. So at the corner is another prepositional phrase that is commonly used to show some direction. And behind. The place we want is behind some certain landmarks. Behind the church, behind the hospital, behind the supermarket, behind some kind of known landmarks. Along with, or go along with some words. Another important expression to give a direction. Opposite of or opposite to is another important expression to give a direction. Opposite of the hospital, opposite of the school, opposite of the university, you may say. Opposite to or opposite of is important expression to give a direction. So students, remember, these are the commonly used prepositions and prepositional phrases to give a direction. But it depends on the situation. We may have other situational or contextual clues or expressions to give direction. So take care of that. Not these are only expressions to give direction. So you had better study further. Good. Now, students, it's time now to do some certain or some sort of exercise about giving or asking for and giving direction. Look at these questions. You will have at least 5 questions to accomplish in this lesson. So, in these 5 questions, we'll have again at least 5 minutes to accomplish your task. Then get ready to choose the correct answers for each of the questions carefully. So go ahead with your friends. Well done, students. I hope you have come up with the correct answers for each of the questions. As well, I hope you have easily expected or analyzed the situations or context given into each of the questions. And then you analyze the situations or context carefully so that you would be able to identify the correct answers for the questions. Now, let's see together. Look at the conversation or dialogue between the stranger and the resident. The stranger asks, "Excuse me, how do I get to the train station?" Excuse me, how do I get to the train station? Ask it politely, using a carefully chosen expression. The resident would reply again politely. He is expected to be more polite, as the stranger was polite there, asking the question. Let's A. It's very far. You can't walk this much distance. It's very far. Look at this funny example or expression, more offensive. So you need to avoid distractor A. It contains some kind of offensive replies. It's very far. You can't walk this much distance. It cannot be said to reply for a politely asked question. And look at B. I don't know where the newly built train station is. I don't know. Another negative reply and too much offensive. What? Newly built train station. the stranger is not asked about the newly built train station, but rather he asked about how to get to the train station. Whether it is old or newly built, we don't matter. But person B replied, I don't know, as the first place is very avoidable, where the newly built train station is. So this one is more offensive and bad distractor. So you need to avoid these kinds of expressions from your distractors. And have a look on C. You should take a taxi to catch the first train. And how do you see this? You should take a taxi to catch the first train. It tells us another context or situation, not about the way to get the train station. So again, we have another bad expression or distractor. But D tells us the way how to get to the train station. How will we get? We should go straight ahead and turn left at the traffic lights. Then after, we will get the train station. So this one is more correspondence with the question. So it is the correct answer. Very good. So let's deal again number 2 as well as we deal with the first one. Zaudu asked, can you tell me the way to the nearest pharmacy? Again, he's asking the way to the nearest pharmacy. What should Bariga say? Look, I think it's closed now due to the current holiday. Look, I think it's closed. What matters? Whether it is closed or open. But Zaudu asked the way to the nearest pharmacy. Only the way. Not the matter of opening or closing the pharmacy. So we have A as a bad distractor, unnecessary answer. And B, it's just around the corner next to the supermarket. Very good, students. I hope you selected it as important or correspondent answer for your question. Can you tell me the way to the nearest pharmacy? It's just around the corner next to the supermarket. It does have some landmarks or pointers, and it tells us the direction. It's just around the corner. So B is the correct match for the question, can you tell me the way to the nearest pharmacy? What about C? You should ask someone else who is living here. What about he or herself? It's really teasing or bad distractor. You should ask someone else who is living here. We got it as a bad distractor, so avoid it. And look at D. I don't know where the pharmacy is in this area. Very offensive. The distractors written usually with I don't know, I am not, or it's not, very opposite or offensive. They usually hold negative replies or unimportant clues. They are considered offensive. So it's better to avoid such kinds of choices or distractors. Good job, students. Let's continue. What about the third one, the dialogue between Wargu and Millian? Wargu asks, where is the nearest bus stop, please? Wargu asks politely and very inviting. And Millian should reply, which one of this? A says, I don't know where the bus stop is built. Look, as I said to you, the expressions or replies started with I don't know are more offensive. If you don't know the place where it is located, still we do have a better expression or quite polite expressions to see or to give a negative reply. But I don't know is very offensive. It's not advisable to reply using the expression I don't know, because we have another polite and smooth expression like I'm afraid, I don't know, I'm sorry, excuse me, and so on. But definitely I don't know or blindly I don't know is very offensive, so avoid it or eliminate this distractor, this bad distractor. Again, you should take a taxi instead of a bus. Look, the question is, where is the nearest bus stop, please? Wargu asks the bus stop or station. And B advises, you should take a taxi instead of a bus. What's the matter here? What about the bus? Why not a bus? Why a taxi? And important or unuseful expression on B. Again, eliminate it. Look at C. Walk down this street for about 200 meters. This one is very congruent with the question. Where is the nearest bus stop, please? Walk down this street for about 200 meters and you'll get it there. That's the case. So C is the correct answer for the blank space. Look at D. It's really far from the center of the town. It's really far. Again, another offensive. It's really far. It creates some kind of a feeling of fearing on the person asking about the direction. So it bothers the person who asks us. Then it's not polite, it's not inviting. Again, we have to avoid this, eliminate this distractor. So we got C, important or correct answer. Let's see what Farhan and Bakri are asking and questioning or answering. Look, Farhan asks us, am I going the right way to the museum? Am I going? Farhan wants to know if he is going to the museum right way or wrong way. And Bakri will assure with the correct reply. So A says, yes, keep going straight ahead for about 100 meters. This one is congruent with the question. Yes, you are right. Yes means yes, you are right. Keep going straight ahead for about 100 meters. Very good. Look at B. Am I going the right way to the museum? Yes is okay. But what follows? You are going along the wrong way. A fallacy comes here. You are going along the wrong way of your target. So eliminate or avoid choice B, a bad distractor we got. It said yes as the first place, but the fallacy comes here. You are going along the wrong way, yes and wrong, a positive with negative, a fallacy. What about C? It's none of my business to know where the museum is. Unadvisable. Not advisable to use these kinds of expressions in real life. But in examinations and questions, it appears to confuse candidates or examinees, so that candidates or examinees will be able to identify which one is the correct use of the language or function of the language or not. So C is a bad distractor. And D, I'm busy, man. You should ask someone else about it. I'm busy, man. D is completely refusing to give a response. I'm busy, man. I'm busy, man. Not advisable to reply in such a way. Why? Because we have some certain or kind of polite expression to refuse or to decline a response. But I'm busy, man is very offensive. Very good, students. What about the last one, number 5? Question number 5 is between Bini and Siti. Bini asked, could you show me the way to the library on a map? What should Siti reply? A. Sure. Go straight and turn right at the second intersection. This fits for the blank space here. Could you show me the way to the library on a map? Sure. Sure shows positivity and gives confidence for the person who asks about the direction. And further, go straight and turn right at the second intersection. It gives clear direction for the person who asks. B says, I don't have enough time to guide you on a map with me. I don't have. As I said, this don't have some kind of immorality. They confuse the language function between the person asking and replying. So it shows some kind of offensive expression. So eliminate B again. And what does person C say? I don't know where the library in this locality is situated. I don't know. Another similar situation, I don't know. Which one is unadvisable? Again, C should be eliminated. And look, D, you shouldn't ask someone who doesn't know locations. Another offensive distractor or expression about this one. So our right answer for number 5 is A. Sure shows some kind of positivity, and the explanation follows. Go straight and turn right as the second intersection is very important and correct for Bini. Very good, students. I hope you have done all the questions in the same way as I did. So it's important to you to have some kind of skills in order to be able to analyze situations and contexts in these types of dialogues. So dealing with dialogues is based on contexts or situations. Then don't hesitate to do such types of questions and standard tests or questions. You will benefit a lot and a lot. And practice too. Don't hesitate to do questions. Well done, students. So in our today's lesson, we try to see asking for and giving direction, which one is very common and which one is tightly acquainted with our day-to-day lives. Then we need to develop this skill to ask for and give direction between our friends, partners, and so on. Again, we try to see some useful social expressions to ask for and give direction. As well, we try to see some important prepositions and prepositional phrases that are commonly used to ask for and giving direction. Again, we saw some ways of asking for and giving direction. That means we have seen some polite ways of asking for and giving direction. By this, we try to have learned about the function of the language. That means in asking for and giving direction, we should use polite language or smooth language. And we saw how the language functions between the communicators. If the person who asks for a direction and give a direction use polite and smooth language or politely expressed words, they can prolong and continue their communication further and further. But if one of them uses very offensive words or phrases or expressions, the communication will be quit abruptly or will be made short and short or too short. So, in any case, what matters in this spoken language or spoken English elements is using the function of your language appropriately and correctly. And in addition to this, we try to see supplementary examples and quizzes to strengthen as a backbone of our lesson. Since the target of these lessons is to tutor you, doing more and more exercise and questions is very advisable to you. That will help you develop some skills of doing questions. So students, that brings us to the end of our today's lesson. Till next time, goodbye.